James, one of the greatest women's players to ever lace up the blades. She's been called the first women's superstar player. Joe Tilley's Great Canadian Sports Show coming up. Welcome to the program. Today's special guest, and we're glad to have her. She was born and raised in Toronto, a 20-year pro, played in the COWHL, NWHL, a six-time MVP. She led Canada to 4 gold medals at the World Championship. Senior sports coordinator at Seneca College, assistant coach for the Toronto Six, inducted into the IIHF Hall of Fame in 2008, inducted into the Hockey Hall of Fame in 2010. She's in the Canadian Sports Hall of Fame. She's a member of the Order of Hockey in Canada. AJ8, the original, grade 8, Angela James. Angela, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you very much for having me, Joe. And I love that introduction and the way you pump your fist and sell the win. Great to be here today.
Well, you're a great guest to have on the program, that's for sure. You've done it all, and we're so grateful you're able to join us today. Now, you started, we'd like to begin right at the very beginning. You started hockey at a time when there weren't a lot of girls playing hockey, and certainly not a lot of black girls playing hockey. What kind of challenges do you come across along your journey?
Well, when I first started playing hockey, I played, absolutely for the love of the game, like every young kid. And being a kid, I didn't understand that there were such things as challenges and stuff. I grew up in Flemington Park, and we always had to, fight our way through life. And so when it came to hockey, that wasn't very much different. So, I just basically rolled up the sleeves, got in there, and got dirty whenever I needed to.
Well, there's a few challenges to overcome there at Flemington Park. The fact that you had to, you didn't have some of the advantages, let's say, that other kids playing hockey did. How were you able to overcome some of those disadvantages?
Well, back then, in I guess it would be the mid 70s when I would have started, it wasn't really accepted that girls played hockey. So, that was a challenge in itself. I started playing in the boys' hockey leagues in Flemington Park. Actually, I was in house league and, and played a little bit of select where we would go down to participate in the Montreal Lachine tournament as a peewee and just enjoy the game. The good thing about my challenges is that a lot of it happened in the outdoor arena because that's where I would mostly do all my playing until one day somebody knocked on my mother's door and said, it's time that you get Angela involved in rep hockey. That she's a pretty good hockey player, and so that's when I guess all the politics began with female playing and boys hockey. And as I continued to play, of course, racial slurs would come my way, and you learn to deal with it, in your own way. Back then, there wasn't a zero tolerance policy or any policy at all, say for slurs, discrimination, or anything like that. It wasn't until probably the last 10 years that anything's been put in place or even followed up on. So some of the challenges, absolutely, as a young black girl, and then also being a female in sport. But one thing that always was a great thing was that I always had a team behind me, so that was always a lot of fun. Some of the fights that we used to have as a result of different situations that occurred.
That's one of the great things about hockey is that team aspect, and like you're all for one and one for all type of thing. And what kind of mantra did you carry with you that helped you to get through those difficult times? Like, what was it you tell yourself that the reason you're doing this, and that there was going to be a a light at the end of that tunnel somewhere.
Yeah, I never really thought about the light at the end of the tunnel. I really just love playing hockey. I love playing street hockey, ball hockey. I love playing goalie. I love playing out. I just love the game. Anytime that I could play shinny hockey, I would. Anytime I would play on the streets, I would. Like I said, like my era and my neighborhood where I grew up, um, you know, we had a fight just to get down and grab you know just to go grab some groceries. Sometimes I would have to fight my way just to go over there because that was just the neighborhood. If I had to go to school, sometimes I would have to have a fist fight just to get to school. So for me, playing hockey, within, certain parameters of the game allowed me, freedom to do what I love to do. And sometimes, if you were called a nigger or if you were called, a girl and you shouldn't be playing here, those things didn't hurt me, but hurt me, but I know that I would turn around and give a two-hander across the back of the leg or something like that because that's just how we did it back then.
Right. That's how Gordie Howe used to take care of business too, right? When the ref wasn't looking, that's how you.
Well, absolutely. I have to tell you, we were back in the day, we were pretty dirty hockey players, not just myself, females hockey. We had body checking back then, a little different than today. You still don't even really see good body checking like they used to, but with discovering of brain injuries and things like that, it's understandable. And especially concussions. But that's how it was. And if you wanted to play and if you wanted to hold on to the puck, um, you had to defend yourself. You didn't have too many people sticking up for you. But when the going got tough, um, you definitely had your teammates at your side.
Well, you mentioned that you like to play, play goal, play D, play forward, wherever where they wanted to put you, you would like to play. But it was obviously at forward where you excelled, and when you moved on to play for Seneca College, I want to talk about some of your accomplishments. Third year there, you had 50 goals and 23 assists in 14 games. That's an average of almost 4 goals a game. Uh, that's pretty impressive stats. I mean, you had the puck the whole time, it seems, right?
Yeah. I loved my time at Seneca playing hockey. And surprisingly enough, that was as a defenseman. I was a defender, a defender now they call it, back in college. And, we used to have a really good team. So, that wasn't just me. It was, my team as well. And, great memories. Um, and I carried that forward. Uh, and then, the colleges back then, like any other universities and stuff, and we're just, getting organized, getting started. So, the fact that you could even play for your college team back then was just incredible. Had to thank my good friend who has passed now, Mary Zettel, for recruiting me to go to Seneca, and Linda Stapleton, who now retired from Seneca, that brought me aboard because as a young kid, I never thought, well, post secondary or after post secondary education, getting anything, and they brought that to my attention, and after that, I spent 35 years working there, so it was just a great career and a great time as a student.
Well, another great thing about Seneca is they allowed you to travel with the national team when you eventually joined the national team when that happened. So that's pretty good too. That turned out to be a pretty good gig for you.
Oh yes, absolutely. They were really supportive because I worked in the athletic department. They were very supportive. I, in return, was supportive to the college. I felt, supporting the academic part, and also trying to be an ambassador, so to speak, representative for the college. So it worked out really well. Sometimes there were some struggles. You're working full time and trying to get training in and trying to be, the best that you can be. But Seneca was always there. I would use my vacations, my half days to hit the gym. Or um, they would allow me the time off, and still I was able to continue my career. A lot of the girls back then, like Stacy Wilson and France St. Louis and a number of the girls had to give up their careers and in order to be able to give back to the game and play for the national team. So I was very fortunate. Seneca College supported my endeavors.
Now, let's talk about those endeavors, like the playing for the national team. First unsanctioned world title was in 1987. You remember that team, but then in 1990, the first women's world championship was sanctioned by the IIHF. You racked up a record 11 goals in that tournament, including this huge goal to clinch it for the Canadian side. What was it like to finally get that chance to play for a sanctioned world title? To feel like you guys were really had your place now.
Well, that that one there, I think, was a 1992 in Lake Placid. That one. Only the only
Okay.
reason I know, Joe, is because we had to wear pink uniforms in 1990, and those look pretty red. But um,
Oh, right,
back in
right.
1990, yeah, that's okay though. That's okay. I like that goal though. That was a nice one. But in just to go back in 1987, just getting going with the um, um, I guess they would call it a non-sanctioned world championship, where we had a number of teams. We had Team Canada, we had Team Ontario. Hazel McCallion was a huge advocate of getting that started for women's hockey, along with Fran Ryder with the OWHA. They basically single-handedly started international women's hockey, and I don't think they get enough credit for that. Um, then in 1987, just a shout out to our captain of that Team Canada era in 1987, Mern Coveney, who just passed away. And so I just like to kind of say a few words about Mern and how she was right on when she said she never thought that there would be ever play in the NHL, but and to date, she's absolutely right, and she quoted that in '87. So, Myrno, you're right on. So, but just as we continued on from '87 into 1990, where they started playing. You started really, really representing your country, because for me, I played for Team Ontario in '87, so that was the first time that I was able to put on the Team Canada jersey. And we didn't know what to expect. Nobody knew what to expect. But in the long run in Ottawa, we had over 10,000 fans out watching and cheering us on all the games, and Michael Landsberg was there commentating in the puck. And for me, for that one, it was I scored the first goal, and that was pretty cool, because they told me, this puck is going into the Hockey Hall of Fame at the time. And really and truly, like, honestly, I'm like, what's the Hockey Hall of Fame, and so I, I just wasn't um, knowledgeable enough to know everything where the game could actually go, because we always just played for the love of the game, and we always played for our provinces. That's where the highest level of competition was for us at the nationals, at the Shoppers Drug Mart Nationals. So in 1990, when that took off, and we knew that it was only going to go from there. And, a lot of people think that we haven't gone far enough, but I think that what has really, really improved is our game. And, the just by, seeing the girls, um, take home the gold medal, but also see the caliber of play that they have displayed even during COVID with probably very little practice. It was pretty outstanding.
Anything that sticks out for you? It's interesting that you would follow the puck into the Hockey Hall of Fame 23 years later, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, 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 absolutely
Yeah.
incredible. So, yeah, great times.
And anything else that sticks out for you? You won the gold medal, three more gold medals after 1990, 87, 90, then 92, 94, 97. Anything that sticks out for you for those from those tournaments?
Yeah, really, lots of great times. Like in every competition, there's always some type of whether it's controversy, or whether it's somebody's injured, or there's something that has changed. Each tournament that I participate in, they were all pretty unique. Um, as you continue to get older, the game changes. You get new coaching staff in there, and you have to make room for the next um, the next breed, I guess, of players. And yeah, you know what? Nothing but great things. Like being cut from the Olympics. That was a sad thing, but I don't really concentrate on too much of that. I just concentrate on all the great times that I wore the jersey and was able to represent Canada at the championships, at any championships, whether it's a Worlds, whether it's Pacific Rim at the time. Absolutely, Olympics would have been fantastic, but generally you're still seeing the same competition. You're not getting the Olympic experience.
Well, that was unfortunate, and I wanted to ask you about that because you sort of touched on it already. But it just seems weird that you're the leading scorer year after year after year for Team Canada. The '98 Olympics come along, and you're left out that team, and that was really an unfortunate scenario. And you think about it. One of the arguments was that you were getting older. I mean, you just turned 32, and when you think about it. The captain of this year's team, Marie-Philippe Poulin, was just is 31, right? Uh, so the fact that you had just turned 32 and she's 31, and look at the star she is, and look at what you could have done for that Canadian team, and it just seemed really unfortunate that you were. I know you mentioned that you sort of let that go, but was there anything that sort of still bugs you about not getting picked?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I know that after the fact, somebody from Hockey Canada came to me, actually called me and said, um, basically what had happened was that they decided to go in a different direction. Now, in my opinion, I think that different direction is let's everybody have a ponytail, and
Yeah.
that to me is very unfortunate, that they would sacrifice the game for that. I think that they've
Hmm.
learned since then, but you know things happen for reasons. It's very unfortunate. you can't really, sulk about it. It was very hard for my family and friends. But after that, some really nice things happened to us. So you can't really go back on that. You know, would I have loved to play? Absolutely. Like I see not only in the 1990 Olympics where, I definitely should have played, but even in the 94 Olympics where I still had teammates or mates that I played against all along, and and still dominated that were on those teams. So to me, it just didn't make sense. But it wasn't my decision, so there's not a whole lot I can do about it now or even or then, that's for sure. So life goes on. I ended up with three beautiful children and a really nice career, and have done lots of other things since.
Yeah, life has been pretty good for you despite those setbacks. And you know what? You did get a little vindication the following year. You made Team Canada again. I think it was a Three Nations Cup and ended up scoring the shootout winner in that tournament. And that must have felt pretty good.
Yeah, you know what? Mel Davidson felt sorry for me. She let me go do the shootout, and so I did the shootout, but you know what? To be quite honest with you, my heart just wasn't in it anymore. I just had my first. He was a newborn. He was only 6 weeks, and he attended that, and I just thought, my newborn's gonna get me before I give myself back to Canada now, because I was pretty hurt about the whole thing, and that's kind of the direction I went. And still in hockey, still love hockey, still love coaching, and I play every now and then. And but I just didn't want that whole experience to steal away the love of the game for me. That I loved and I still love.
Well, you know what? We're glad you did that. It didn't steal that away from you. We're really glad that you stuck with it. Um, Now you've been called the Mark Messier or Wayne Gretzky of women's hockey. Well, how would you describe yourself? More like Mark, I'm thinking.
Oh, yeah, I would think so too. I love. I think I got the Wayne Gretzky title because I did score lots of goals. And but Wayne Gretzky is Wayne Gretzky, and Mark Messier, in terms of I think having that edge. I would think that I was more like him. He's one of my favorite players too. I used to always copy his face offs and um, his intensity as a player, and I just loved how physical he was, and still having the ability to score goals. So I would say a little bit more of Marc Messier, and but I'm never gonna deny Wayne Gretzky's comparability, I guess. That's for sure.
Well, I didn't realize that you were playing defense when you scored those 50 goals in 1 year from 14 games for Seneca. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, well, what's really impressive, Joe, is the intro of all the information that you had. I think you're probably one of the only ones who ever got it right. So, no worries about the Seneca thing, that's for sure.
Well, okay. Listen, now you're an assistant coach with the Toronto Six and the Premier Hockey Federation. Um, Now we found some practice vids here and some video on online. Now Soroya Tinker plays for the Toronto Six. Now here's a message that Soroya tweeted out when she found out that you were going to be an assistant to head coach Mark Joslin.
Hey
Let's run that
everyone,
clip, Vic.
Soraya Tinker here. I just wanted to take a few moments and kind of speak from the heart. Obviously, this morning we had a huge historic announcement come from the Toronto Six as they announced Angela James as our assistant coach for next season. For me, when I found this out, I was overwhelmed with emotion. And in my 20-year career, I've never been coached by a coach of color. And this upcoming season with the Toronto Six, I have the opportunity to be coached by two, Coach Mark Joslin and Coach Angela James. This is how you make meaningful change. You hire Black people. It's so important for hockey to move forward just as so, because it's so important for the BIPOC community to be able to see people in their shoes and to see them be coached by people who look like them. I'm so excited to be a part of the Toronto Six for this upcoming season, and I'm absolutely honored to have Angela James as my assistant coach.
So, what were your thoughts when you got that kind of a greeting?
I was, I love Tinker, by the way. She's one of my bigs, as I say, Dee, and I've loved getting to know her as well. And when I heard that, I was like going, oh, I was shocked, because here I thought I was getting hired because because I knew what I was doing. But maybe it was another reason. But I think that if I could influence anybody in the BIPOC community to continue to play, to do well, to continue to love the game, just by being who I am and being uh, having the color skin I have. If that's going to make somebody feel more welcomed into our game, then I'll do that every day and twice on Sunday. And we have a number of Black players on our team. We also have an Asian girl on our team. We're probably one of the most diverse teams in the league. I think we are, and I don't think that was done on purpose. Mark, Jocelyn, and I, we attended Seneca College together, and the first person he called was myself to come in and help. And so, if we can make a difference for young BIPOC communities, players in the diverse community, that by having these opportunities and showing them that they can do it as well, then I'm more than happy to be out there and to support that cause for sure.
Well, you guys are
And
the
I love
Toronto
Tinker as
Six.
well. Sorry, Joe. And I love Tinker as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
So that was great
Well,
comments.
well, yeah. I was just going to say, you are the Toronto Six. It makes sense you would represent Toronto in all aspects, right? The multiculturalism, the diversity, everything else. And Michaela Grant
It's
Memphis?
Michaela. It's Michaela
Michaela. Okay.
Grant.
Okay, so she's the reigning league MVP. She also happens to be Black. I mean, this is pretty cool. This is you guys have, and let's talk about the team because you guys are leading the division. You're 11, I guess, 2-1 after a loss last night. You mentioned to me before we came on, and that's a pretty. So I want to ask, like, people who are watching. How can we watch the Toronto Six play? When do you guys play? Where do you play? I believe it's Canlin Arena, York, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, we play at Canline Arena. If it's a weekend when we're in town, we would be Saturdays at 2 o'clock and Sundays usually at 1 o'clock. Sometimes it varies on Sundays due to flight schedules for the girls. But yeah, this is a really dynamic team. We've got 20 girls that are all NCAA graduates for the most part. Very, very intelligent girls. Mark and I, we kid ourselves where, we have a Harvard grad. We've been to Harvard, and it's basically just by visiting. And so we presented Mark with a Harvard certificate, a few months ago. But the actual game, it's a great game. You talked about Michaela. She's a great player. I'm not sure why she hasn't got a look at the national team. If she ever got into the program, if they were able to elevate her game even higher, they would have just a sensational player there. As well as we've got a great defense core, Lindsay Eastwood, Soraya Tinker, a couple of our bigs. We've got Tyler Woods. back there. You know, I don't want to leave too many out, but just those are some of the names.
Did Angela freeze it? Oh, sorry.
Oh, sorry. Anybody? Am I still freezing? Okay.
No, you're
Anybody
good.
who's
You're good. Yes.
good. Anybody who's come out has just been shocked at the level of play, and you know, Mark and I, we've gotten these girls to where we want, not based on last night's um, result, but that was an outdoor game in Buffalo that just kind of went backwards. But as far as the girls and their buy-in, and just their professional attitude to the game. You know, they're in the gym, they're at practices, they're wanting to do more and more and more, and really, you know, even in the background of the Toronto Six, you know, the professionalism, you know, like their flights and their hotels, and they're getting paid. They're getting paid to play, and you know, there's still some ways to go, but not next year. They announced they had a $25 million deal, so that can bring the salaries up to 85,000 per girl. You know, your top four girls. You know, 26 game schedule, so a 7-month season. That's not too bad. And you know, your second, third lines, you know, can be 40, 50,000 for a 26 game schedule. Practices probably 3, 4 times a week at 4 o'clock. You know, I know if this proposal was offered to me back in the day, I would jump at it, no problem. So it's just a matter of now getting all the buy-ins from the Olympians. And I believe that we're going to be starting up another program in Canada, as well as another program in the States. So great things to come. It's just a matter of getting everybody to buy into the same goal. And I'm looking forward to still being a part of it for a little while longer anyway.
That is awesome. I didn't realize that. That's so the Premier Hockey Federation. It's sort of like it's all bringing it together, right? Because that's what we've been waiting for. Is that one, central organization that's going to be the premier, if you will, organization that finally puts women's hockey on the map.
Yeah, so a little history there is they changed the name from the National Women's Hockey League because there was the National Women's Hockey League and then there was the Central Women's Hockey League. So the Central Women's dissolved over 3 years ago, and they started doing the tours with generally the Hockey Canada and Hockey US in terms of their elite players. So what happened there is then there was a divide, and so then the divide happened that there was like these tours, and then the tour athletes, which were predominantly your Olympians, weren't playing in the Premier League. So the NW took a forward step and changed the name from NW to the Premier Hockey League with ownership, with sponsorship. And now, hopefully, these guys will all come together and then that way they can all create one, huge package. The Premier has TV rights. They have ESPN. They have TSN. They have online games. So they're doing a lot, and it would really, really be silly for the PW not to somehow join forces for the betterment of the players, not so much the girls that are pretty much done, almost done here. It's for the up and coming girls to have an opportunity to play in a professional league, but not only a professional league, but a league, so that we're not just seeing the rivalries and the pool ends and the Filliers once every 4 years. perform where they can be performing day in and day out. And I really think that that's the only way that our game will get better and better.
The more unified, the better. No question about that. There was quite an uproar in some circles anyway a while back when the under 18, the girls or women's, if you will, under 18 championships were canceled. We had Tara Sloan on the show, and she was talking about that. Like Mary Kay Messier reached out to the IIHF to see if they would be willing to hold the summit with the sponsors. And this is what Tara had to say.
One of the biggest growing demographics for the National Hockey League are girls and women. And certainly when it comes to minor hockey's growth, I mean, girls hockey is, leaps and bounds growing more than anything else. So it's time, I think, for, maybe, I don't even know if it's a leap of faith. I think it's just a recognition that now is the time to make these investments. And I think that the rewards will come shortly thereafter.
Now that seems to be falling in line with exactly what you're talking about, doesn't it?
Yes, and there have been a number of companies that have stepped up on the Premier Hockey League side of things, as well as the alumni side of things. So I think that it's just a matter of time. I think these guys, if they don't, then they're gonna wreck. I mean, wreck women's hockey, and these guys need to stop with this. This is mine type of attitude, and but in my opinion, it's doable. I'm optimistic about the future of the pro game. As far as the young girls game, I'm still coaching in that, and there's so much opportunity for the young girls in terms of U18s and U22s and the national program and universities, both Canadian and US, and junior A programs and double A programs right through. So we get this next platform all straightened out, and I don't think it can go any higher than that, and then that where we just perfect every single level of the game.
Yeah, polish it up, it'll grow, and continue to polish that up as it goes along. But we just witnessed another Olympic final between Canada and the U.S. and the numbers from that game were really astronomical for a game that was basically in the middle of the night in the East Coast. 3.4 million people watched on NBC, and I think the number was 1.3 on CBC. Those are incredible numbers. That shows you that the interest in women's hockey is definitely there.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure there's a lot of factors there as well, in terms of the men not being a part of the NHL, not being a part of it, and the women have always been right there with the NHLers, and it was kind of like a dual thing. But I know that I stayed up that whole week. I was pretty tired between watching all the Olympics and not necessarily always just the hockey. I loved watching all the sports, but in particular, of course, I was up for the finals, and we were up 3-0. I'm like, there's no way that we're going to lose this one. So I saw a lot of change in a lot of people's play from last Olympics to this Olympics, and I thought that Spooner really stepped up and played a great tournament, and same with Sarah Nurse. I thought that they had some really good games, and I loved watching Turnbull and the defense corps really do their thing. And I'm not sure think it was, her name was Haley, one of the announcers, talking about, this is definitely going to be about goaltender. I think it was Shabado. Of course, she's a goalie, so she's going to say it's always about goalies, but it certainly was. And, I'm kind of glad I wasn't prepared at that time of the night to have like a close game anyway. So I really got to enjoy the game, and I'm really happy for the girls bringing home the gold medal again. And, hope that they just enjoy everything about that and about their lives, because, there's nothing more special than that.
Yeah, really, it was amazing. And what can you say about Marie-Philippe Poulin, who's clutch in those gold medal games? She scored in 4 straight. She scores 2 in this one, and she seems like she's a pretty solid captain for that team.
Yeah, it's funny because I've talked to Marie-Philippe maybe a couple of times just in passing at different things, and one thing that strikes me that her coming from Montreal is she just reminds me so much of a captain from Montreal, France St. Louis, in terms of how she handles her group, and how she is a leader, very modest, humbling, and puts her teammates first. And France St. Louis was like that, and I don't know if that was one of her role models, but I certainly see a lot of her in France. So what was it, 3 Olympics and 3 game-winning goals. So that was always France St. Louis too. So that's awesome. I'm really happy for her and their team. That's for sure.
Well, Canada, had another great leader who was pretty humble and led by example, and her name was Angela James, and in 2010, her along with Cammy Granado were inducted into the Hockey Hall of Fame. And your induction speech, by the way, was terrific. Vicky's got a clip for us to hear.
I guess as I stand here on this historic day for women's hockey, I reflect on the past months and what this induction has meant to myself, my family, my friends, and so many women and girls playing our great game of hockey. I can only say that I feel so very, very privileged to be one of the first females to lead us into the Great Hockey Hall of Fame. The time is right, we are here, and who is next? Thank you very much.
I'm sure, Angela, how does it feel when looking back at that speech now?
Well, first of all, I was ready to cry. It wasn't actually till the last couple of years people started bringing out little pieces of that speech, and it just brings back so many memories about preparing for that night. And I really didn't understand how big of a night it was until after the announcement, how many media were knocking at my front door, and my kids didn't have a clue what was going on. But I remember, writing that speech and just kind of going over it and just going, I don't know if this is what I'm supposed to do. I didn't really have time to go and check out what other people wrote or anything like that. I certainly didn't have anybody who could prepare that for me. So I just wrote that from the bottom of my heart, what I thought, what would happen next, and for just having that opportunity to be that first to represent the women's game, and have a beautiful platform in the Hockey Hall of Fame for women's hockey.
Well, it was a beautiful speech. watching the whole thing. I encourage anybody to watch the whole thing because it was awesome, and you really paid tribute to Ange and the family, and it was beautiful. It really was, I also want to that particular night, Cami Granado was inducted into the Hall of Fame as well, the American rival. And recently, Cami was named an assistant general manager with the Vancouver Canucks. How did you feel when that happened?
Well, I felt that absolutely, first of all, honored to go into the Hockey Hall of Fame with Cami and her family and meeting up. We had the opportunity of going into the International Hockey Hall of Fame together, along with Geraldine Heaney, back in I think it was 2009 or 2008, and
Yep.
with Cami, just even being asked to be a scout with Seattle was pretty phenomenal, and I was very happy for her. So, going forward to be a general manager, assistant general manager for a pro hockey team, Cami's a pretty smart young lady, and I remember she was completing her master's back then. So I don't, and then with being in the hockey world, her family, her brother, her husband, being around it, I think it was a given, without a doubt, and I think that she will do very well for the Vancouver Canucks. And then, again, setting another bar, setting another first, and there's been so many firsts, which I hope will just continue now to, for the floodgates to open for other women to have opportunities in those positions and others, as well as coaching and officiating and all aspects of the game.
Is the NHL doing enough in terms of diversity and inclusion?
It's diversity and inclusion. It can't be a quick fix. And this past year it was just like, oh, let's throw this guy in as an anchor, and let's throw this guy in as a coach, and let's, to me, it has to come from within. I don't think that any person in the BIPOC community wants to be given an opportunity just because they're Black. I think they want to deserve it. And I think that what needs to be done is at the grassroots level, at the junior levels, the opportunities have to be there. I think that everybody has to pay their dues, like everybody, and work their way up. But the opportunity has to come from below, so that when we get to those stages, that you're qualified and you're going to have an impact in there. But again, the opportunity has to be in those areas, absolutely, but also has to be in the at the grassroots, in the junior level, and the the one below the NHL anyway, in there as well.
AHL.
And yes, thank you. And the H.E.R. And then they'll get their shot. But I also think that when they're there, and I think that some changes have been made, that it's not well, I'm going to bring my buddy in here, and I'm going to bring my buddy in here, and so then it's just a continuous circle of systemic racism, and that's how it happens. Or I'm going to bring my family in here, and so then it's very hard to make those changes. But I don't think that it has to be in a one-shot deal. I think there has to be some sort of protocol in place, and you're going to get a lot of organizations that will engage and really make a solid effort for change, and then you're going to get some organizations that are not, for various reasons that you'll never know, and that's where things will continue to progress, and there will be continued problems in those associations.
Well, you're somebody who came from Flemington Park and earned everything you got, worked your way all the way through. What was it like when they named the arena the Angela James Arena after you in Flemington Park?
That was really special. My mom was alive, so she got to witness that. That's where we were all brought up. My mom raised 5 of us on her own, and all my siblings were there, as well as some of the neighborhood kids that we grew up with, and Andrew Fairburn and my sister Kim Barato, who were the ones who they were instrumental in getting that name change. Back then, Kathleen Wynne was the MPP, I believe, for the city, for the region. So she was supportive as well. Every time I drive by there, and my car kind of takes a little turn in there, so the kids have to look at the sign, and we keep going. But I never say anything. I just drive, and then every now and then my daughter has a game there, and so we go there, and then whenever we have a game there, she's a pretty little proud peacock, and she goes in there, she's taken over now, and she just she loves the game as well. She's not a great hockey player, but she loves the game, and I love the fact I used to tease Cassie Campbell Pascal, and because Cassie's got a rink named after her out in Brampton. I mean, it is huge. And I'd say, Cassie, your name is bigger than my rink. So, we would go from there. But, for all the people that I grew up with in Flemington Park, and we used to play as kids. Every time we go by, those are the memories that I get every time I see my name in there. And it's just such a wonderful thing.
I think if it's me and driving the kids to the rink, I'm thinking I might say, even though I know where the game's going to be, I might just say, like, where are we playing tonight? Where are we playing tonight again? Angela James Arena, Mom.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I do stuff like that. My oldest son, he's at Western University, and he's studying medical sciences, and he's got a long way to go. He's trying to get into med school and so on and so forth, and the University of Windsor gave me an honorary Doctor of Law degree. So I came home, and he's studying, and like he always does. He's a good student, and I'm like, I just got in. I got this degree. I got my doctorate. Whenever I'm in an educational institution, you have to address me as Dr. James. And it took me 4.5 hours to get this degree. Wow, he's not he's not too happy with me. So I try to teach the kids as much as I can, but they keep me humble. It's just like, can you make me something to eat? So away you go.
Right. Well, I'm glad he's a good student. He's going to earn his medical degree. That's fantastic. And believe me, you earned your degree, Angela. Trust me.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you.
I just want to say, Angela, it was an absolute honor to have you on the show here today. It's been great. I really enjoyed this, and good luck with the 6 and anything else that comes your way. We'll see how that unfolds, but I suspect whatever comes your way, it'll be good.
Awesome. Well, thanks a lot for going down memory lane, Joe, and enjoy Mexico.
All right. Thanks. Thank you. I will. All right. We got more sports coming up. Thanks, Angela.
Thank you. All right, you
Fantastic,
too.
Angela. That was brilliant. Really enjoyed that. That was awesome. Thank you.
Thanks, Joe.
Good job,
Thank you
Vic.
very
Thank
much.
you. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Okay, sounds good.
Guests on Joe Tilley Sports receive a gift certificate from Classica Imports. Top of the line imported men's clothing. Check out the Classica Essential Collection now. Go to shopclassica.com.
Hey, this is Tommy Graisley, aka Tommy Gunn. I love two things, music and sports. And when I want sports, I go to the Joe Tilley Show. He gives me everything I want. It's a great show. Check it out for yourself. Joe Tilley Sports, coming up.
Good night. When I'm working out, I like to wear my Joe Tilley's Great Canadian Sports Show t-shirt. It makes me feel handsome and strong. If you want a t-shirt, support the show, click on the link below. Now, back to my workout. 1,761, 1,762, 1,763, 1,764. Addiction Rehab Toronto, Toronto's #1 alcohol and drug treatment center, saving lives, reuniting families. The only treatment center in the province to offer medical detox, treatment, sober living, and lifetime aftercare all in one place. Our unique and specialized programs are designed to equip our clients with the tools to successfully lead a life of dignity, respect, and purpose. Let us help save your life or your loved one's life. Call today for more information or to facilitate an intervention. 1-855-787-2424 or visit addictionrehabtoronto.ca. Joe Tilley Sports is brought to you by COSA, Central Ontario Standardbred Association, providing a united voice for harness horse people racing at Ontario tracks. Check out your benefits today at COSAonline.com and check out COSA TV on Facebook and YouTube for all the latest harness news and live action updates. Live racing year-round. Go to hpibet.com for all your wagering options. Become a member today, and your first bet is free. That's hpibet.com. Slow play. It's a slippery slope. First you go looking for that lost ball, and then everything goes sideways. There are a lot of golfers on the course. Make certain of your point of entry, look quickly, and move on. Remember, we're here for a good time, not a long time. Find anything, Bob? Not yet. ShopClubLink.ca for golf equipment, demo clubs, trade-ins, golf apparel, men's and women's, custom fittings, accessories, all at your fingertips. ShopClubLink.ca.
Time for my COSA Swiss pick of the week. Well, for the third time this winter, the race that I was picking was scrapped by some nasty weather. Thursday's card at Mohawk was postponed, so let's check out Saturday night's second race, a preferred pace for the purse of $36,000. Jody Jameson guided Uhtred to the victory for trainer Carmen Osiello. That's a 6-horse in the middle. Yes, a 6.5 exact return, $31. Great race. This week, well, let's look at this right here. I'm going to Mohawk for Thursday night's 8th race, and it's going to be Stonebridge Strong with Christopherou in the buggy. Stonebridge Strong, and I also like the 1-3-6 exacta box. A reminder that all racing updates are on COSA TV on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, and go to hpibet.com for your wagering options. Time now for the Rycom Wrap, sports news that's close to home. Well, it was called one of the great clutch performances by any Canadian hockey player ever. Yes, indeed. Captain Marie-Philippe Poulin scored twice to lead Canada over the U.S. to capture the gold medal at the Beijing Olympics. 3-2 over the U.S. to win it. She was the MVP, no doubt about it. Scored in all 4 career Olympic gold medal games now. Sarah Nurse was unbelievable as well, with 5 goals and 13 assists in the tournament. That's a record, 18 points. And Renee Debian stopped 38 shots in the clincher. Some amazing performances all around by Team Canada. Brad Gushue's rink earned a bronze in men's curling. Charles Amlin tied a Canadian record with his 6th career medal. He had gold in the 5K relay on the Canadian team. Laurent Dubray won silver in the 1,000 meter in long track. Canada's Yvonne Blondin took silver in the women's mass start speed skating event, her 2nd medal of the games. Marielle Thompson captured silver in women's ski cross, and Justin Cripps guided his 4-person bobsled team to a bronze medal. Whitby's Cam Stones is a member of that squad. Well, the Nick Ritchie experiment ended in Toronto. Kyle Dubas was able to get rid of that contract to the Coyotes for a couple of pieces. Looking forward to seeing what Ilya Lyubushkin can do on the defense. They call him the Russian Bear, apparently, for his serious body checking. It's a tough stretch for the Buds. 5 games in 8 days, 4 of those on the road. First up, you'd expect to be a soft touch in Montreal, but no. New head coach Marty St. Louis suddenly has his club playing some decent hockey. The Habs rolled to a 5-2 win. The Leafs have given up 11 goals in 2 games. Jake Muzzin could be out with a concussion. That'll have to be addressed, that defensive issue, over the next few weeks leading up to the trade deadline. The Raptors returned to game action on Friday. It was a great all-star experience for our man Freddie, the first of many for the all-star guard, for the classy man. He did not disappoint. Scotty Barnes and Precious Achua both represented well in the Rising Stars competition. The Raps are 7 games over 500 and are playoff bound as they head into Friday's resumption. Well, they are absolutely sizzling. Yes, we're talking about the Toronto Rock, who sauntered into Albany on the weekend, rung up their 4th straight win, completing a season sweep over the Firewolves. Reed Reynolds scored 3 times. Rob Hellier had a goal and 5 helpers to pace the Rock to a 13-9 victory. The Rock are now 6-3 to move to within a game and a half of the East Division lead, and they'll travel to New York this week for a tilt with the Riptide. The Tide are 1-7. Well, another week, another trip to the final for Felix Auger-Aliassime, the 21-year-old Canadian coming off his first ATP win, made it to the final of the Open 13 in Marseille, where he bowed out to second-seeded Andrei Rublev. Felix beat the Russian last week in Rotterdam, and the kid is smoking hot. Well, are you wondering about the Saudi League for golf? Well, it's a super league, sort of. Just listen to what Rory McIlroy had to say. No. Not going to happen. And before we go, let's have a look at our shot of the week.
God damn it. 4!
Well, folks, guess where we are? Beautiful number 6, El Tigre, Nuevo Vallarta, Mexico. Joe Tilley, his favorite hole. Oh, he heard his shot. Oh, and he fed the fishes. He fed the fishes their favorite meal, Titleist Pro V1s. Boop, diddy, boop, boop, boop.
Today's environmental tip: reduce the electricity you use. Use energy-efficient light bulbs instead of regular light bulbs. They last longer, which will save you money. Make sure that you turn off the lights, the TV, and other appliances when you're not using them. And lower your air conditioning or heat settings when it's not necessary. Open your windows when fall arrives and wear more layers of clothing rather than cranking up the heat. RICOM, passionate people who turn complicated business problems into simplified technology solutions. For public and private sector real estate, properties, portfolios, and enterprise customers. Optimize and future-proof smart buildings from the ground up. Smart Tech Solutions, the latest in fault locating, base building network design, managed services, cybersecurity, data analytics. Our fault detection will support all smart strategies, define projected outcomes for capital planning, and reduce environmental impact. RICOM, Smart Protection Solutions. At RICOM, we're building a path to a smart and environmentally friendly future and a carbon-free economy.
Can't believe I missed that shot. Anyway, thank you. We want to thank all the folks who make this show possible. These are friends, trusted business associates, and all-around great people. I highly recommend them all. A reminder that the show is available on iTunes, Breaker, Radio Public, Google Podcast, and Pocket Cast, as well as the Spanglish Network and Zingo TV. Also, like and subscribe to the show on YouTube. Thank you once again to Angela James for being on the show. Thank you for watching, and join us next week when documentary filmmaker Kwame Mason drops by. We'll see you then. Joe Tilley's Great Canadian Sports Show is brought to you by
Brian Gribben Insurance Planning, helping you solidify your financial future.
At BGIP, what we do that's unique in the marketplace is we show people how to spend and enjoy their money in their early years of retirement without the fear of running out. Also, we're able to do this without you having to change financial advisors. Please look us up at bgip.ca today, and let's book a 30-minute phone call to see how we can bring value to you and your family in your planning.
Call Brian today for all your retirement needs. We did. 905-686-5678. Do you want to buy or sell a home? Could 31 years of real estate experience help you? Why not speak to an amazing team that loves to overpromise and overdeliver? Aldo has a tremendous team of experts on staff. They are committed to making your next real estate transaction smooth and comfortable. Call 416-GET-ALDO or visit getaldo.com. Brought to you by MNP, a leading Canadian national accounting, tax, and business consulting firm. MNP proudly serves and responds to the needs of our clients in the private, public, and non-for-profit sectors. Through partner-led engagements, MNP provides a collaborative, cost-effective approach to doing business and personalized strategies to help people and organizations succeed across the country and around the world. With local offices in Oshawa, Toronto, Mississauga, Burlington, and more, our team is here to support you. Visit mnp.ca to learn more.